Welcome to another video with the XM. In last episode with this car, we've changed the inner and outer tie rods, we've done a service and removed the sump in order to see if there were fragments of the engine there, and there were. And we also have the hot, idle, low pressure warning. In fact, when I went to the MOT with that, it was showing basically the whole time and I was a bit scared. It managed to pass emissions, and yeah, actually it passed the MOT, and there's only one advisory, which is for the lens for the fog lights, which are, a bit milky. Maybe I'll just need to replace them with new ones. With MOT out of the way, we could actually think what would be the best thing to do regarding this car, if it would be fixing this engine or finding a new one for it. We have two different issues here. One is the low oil pressure warning. It has been showing since the trip to the Netherlands. That could be the oil pump, but it could also be some sort of wear and tear in the engine, although that's really strange, but given how this car in general has been treated, could happen. But there's the other issue, which is this car, since I own it, is about 1 liter of oil per 1,000 kilometers, and that's not due to the oil pump, probably. So we have two different issues, and we don't even know if the oil pump fixes the other one, although it's quite likely. So yeah, I didn't really want at this stage to open an engine, and taking it to a mechanic would cost a couple €100. So I found an engine and I just bought it. What we're gonna do from this episode onwards is just replace it. I have no idea how this engine is, of course. I know that it came from an XM brake. I know it had a bit more miles than this one. I'm relying on what they told me, that it was idling nicely. The car had been standing for a couple of years, but no issues starting it. It was not noisy. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure yet, but we might need to replace other things. For example, the brake discs. Of course, I don't need to replace an engine to replace the brake discs. But I've noticed last time when removing the wheels that the brake discs are worn. The clutch is sort of okay, it feels okay, but we're gonna see the sort of wear that's on that. And I'd like to have a functioning air conditioning in this car. We're gonna see if that's gonna pan out or not. So let's just begin. As you can see, this is pretty much a complete engine. It comes with the exhaust and intake manifolds. I've already noticed that there's some differences to the intake. For example, in mine, the idle sensor is not here, and there's some sort of entry for a hose that mine doesn't have. I'm not entirely sure that's gonna work with my ECU, although looking at everything else, it's the same engine. It's really just the intake. Injectors, they have yellow plugs. Mine are not this color, and I'm not sure they deliver the same fuel pressure. We still have to replace a couple things. For example, this gasket here, that's probably brittle, and the gasket on the oil sump, yes, I did it on the other engine, but I don't think I'm gonna reuse it. We need to replace the oil filter, we need to do the timing belt. Let me check, we need to replace the gasket for the manifold. The exhaust, I should do that, but in typical XU fashion, we have two bolts that are broken, and that's a pain to remove them. And the guys told me that the engine was running silent, so, fingers crossed. I don't want to mess with that for now. I've seen images of people being able to remove the engine without removing the front bumper and the brace that is behind this. The bar, sorry, not the brace. But I think I'm going to do that because it will give me extra space, or at least the impression of extra space. There is one bolt over there somewhere and another on the other side. I think there are two bolts underneath, one there, another there, and I'm sure, and some people don't actually look there, and I wouldn't if I hadn't read that, there are also bolts behind the plate. So what we're gonna do is start there. Sorry about the noise. This is my neighbor, which has some cattle. and is currently calling them. The joys of rural life. And yes, it is a 10. Ooh. That's tight and probably very rusty. Ugh. What is going on there? Actually, I'm now thinking that maybe the bar behind the bumper is attached to these bolts. And if it is, I actually don't want to remove them. 1 or 2 minutes in and we're already doing a U-turn. Lovely. So let's start with that bolt and the other one over there. Okay. 2 bolts. Now, through the wheel arch you can't see anything, but if you put your fingers in here, there's something, and that's what we have to remove. Difficult to get the wrench there, so we're gonna cheat and raise the suspension. Let's see if a 13 will work. The game of guessing the right socket. Yes, it was a 13. I feel blind. But it is moving, which is what matters. We're almost there, almost. Yes, it's here. Look at that for ridiculous opening. Another one. Now, does this want to come off already? So we're gonna find out. Okay, we need to be careful. I've discovered that this is very loose, so we're gonna go a different route. And we're gonna remove this first. That might actually help shed some light regarding what's happening with this corner of the bumper. This is out. Just need to remove the clip. It was difficult to show you from the inside, but there is this tab that when this is in place, you just push, and that's how you remove it. And when you remove it, you can finally get to this bolt that is over here, which is Torx, I think. Okay, that was easy. Now we're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. And since we are here, let's just undo the headlights. 1 bolt, 2 bolts. Is there something underneath? I don't think so. No, there's something else. First of all, not a bad idea to disconnect this bad guy. You know, since we are removing it and all that. Other bolts. Do we have other bolts? Do we? We do. The bolt is still sort of in there, but one thing I didn't realize is that this also acts as a support for the horn. So yeah, no, the horn is just hanging there. Good. Okay. The headlight's surprisingly easy to remove. Yes. Is that enough? That's enough. Out. out. Oh man. These are in the right state. Okay. Anyway, it's this little tab here. You push it and magic happens. I think the easiest thing is to just rotate this as we did on the other side. Right. Will the bumper come out now? Yes. Yes, it will. Oh, that's very large. Where the hell do I put this? Has seen better days, hasn't it? Yep. Now just remove these blocks, spacers, whatever you want to call them. Okay. Next, I think we'll have to turn towards this mechanism, removing the horns for good, and the radiators. And probably after that we can remove this. I think I'm gonna undo the bolts for the wheel hubs while the car is, well, on the ground. And then I'll have to... Oh, hello. You don't want a feature. Okay. I'll undo the bolts now. And then I would need to get the suspension high. I would need to turn on the engine so I can get the car on jack stands, and then we can proceed. Here we go again. These hubs have been in place for, these caps have been in place for what? A week and a half? I've raised the car in order to actually remove the wheel and remove this. Then I'm gonna have to put it back down, and then we can apply force and remove this. And then we're gonna get the car high up again, which is sounds a bit redundant, a bit stupid, but a bit safer, I guess, for me. I don't have any power tools here, actually. In a galaxy far, far away, we found our magic pin, I guess. Yeah. So now we can remove this. Let's make sure we don't lose it. Forgot my gloves again. Gonna end up with hands that the missus is not gonna like. We're already running into a blocker because this is my biggest socket, which is a 30. And by the looks of it, it should be a 34, 36. Yeah. Back from the shop. I think we've done it. Yeah. That's now sort of loose. Safety first, I suppose, because in these cars the handbrake is actually on the front wheels. Also, this is really noisy. So I've done, I can't even show you, a bolt over there near the sphere to release the pressure, and apparently it has worked because the pressure is now low. Since the engine is warm, this might be a good time to remove the oil. Okay, ready? Ooh, that went very well actually. You stay there. This bracket is for the battery. I'm actually talking to myself, not to you, because I'm going to forget. Off we go. Now let's unclip some stuff. Obviously doesn't want to come off. Now the cable to open the bonnet, just like this, I think. Now this one just pops up like this. And it should slide right off. Now we're gonna remove the coolant from the engine by unclipping this hose. I mean, I would if I could actually see where to get to it. So maybe we're gonna have to leave it for last when we have a bit more leeway around this. So I'm just start removing this and this one here. Let's remove the light. Water and electricity, not a very good mix. Oh, of course, now we do it. Thank you. Where is my bloody light? You know, working on a car is basically this. 25% of the time you read about what you're going to do, if you don't know, which is my case. 50% of the time you look for the tool you just put on the ground, and the other 25% is probably for working, maybe less. We're gonna check this bolt now, see if access improves. How tight could it be? Not very. That's the answer. I suspect this needs to be unplugged, and there's another one that goes to this one here too. Brown to the left, black to the right. To come off, but how? Okay, this is the bolt. Let's check before I break it. Oh, okay. The filter has already said goodbye, and I actually think that I forgot one thing. That's why it's not coming off. A little pin over here. Okay. Maybe if we tilt it a little. Nothing's broken, I hope. No. And for help matters, my Haynes manual is in French. Je peux parler un peu français, mais c'est ça. Je me débrouille, c'est tout. The problem is not my French. The problem is that the Haynes is not exactly very detailed. And also the issue that I'm in the wrong section. Are we undoing these 3 bolts and praying? Yes, yes we are. We have removed some plugs here. These will get out with the engine, these won't. So now, maybe we remove this. Okay, so it seems that this clip is not doing much, because I've still been able to remove it. Since we are here, we can already remove this one. Could that over there be a bolt for the airbox? Let's find out. Actually, that was the other end of the bolt. There's a bolt here that could be for the airbox. Let's see. It is. Let me just point these bolts here before I forget where they came from. Now, stop making a mess. Frustratingly, it still doesn't want to go. I don't think there's anything holding it from the side. Whatever is over here. I've noticed that we have another plug here that we have to remove. Well. If removing This little guy here hasn't been enough. Come on, no more funny business. What now? But wait, if we take this off, the ring should just... Yes, use your head. Use your head. Great. And this needs to be disconnected here. I needed to undo this guy here, and just so that I really know what I'm doing, it came from here. Let's see if you can now wiggle it out. Yes, we can. Good. So I guess everything is now separated. Of course, we forgot another one in here. Yes, it's this one. In this side, there isn't a plug that I can unplug for one of the wires, so I really have to remove the relay. And I was trying to understand how, in God's name, I would be able to remove it from here. Well, you can see it there, right? Yeah. But then I remembered that I am a dummy. And obviously, you can just remove the relay. And now it's much easier to just take the rest from there without the relay in front of you. So, yeah. And here it is. It's already out of its casing. Now for that pesky clamp. In order to access to that horrible clamp, I would need to get to the other radiator. I need to remove it. But in order to remove that, I need to undo the connection, the AC line. And I can do that without removing the front panel. At least there isn't an easy way, so I'm just going to remove it now. Okay, the bolt and the washer. Okay, done. Okay. Oh, great. That's great. Look at that. All the space in the world. And also evidence that some birds might have been killed. For some reason, there's also a cigarette butt and a bee. And another bee. Actually, many bees. Yes. I don't know if this radiator is still good. There isn't anything at first sight that tells me it's bad. I don't know if I can take it somewhere to test it. And then I have to check the evaporator. Yeah, I'm going to think about that. Here we go, an air conditioner, radiator. We are nearly there, but to be honest with you, I've been here for around 10 minutes. Trying to open this up. I know usually just destroy it, but I couldn't get an angle with this. Completely hate this. I don't know why people use them. They are stupid. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with it? It's beautiful. Yes, yes. Finally. Now for the bath. Look at that. That's just nasty. I mean, this coolant was replaced 1 year ago. This is probably a 20 or 21, but I don't have one, so this has to do. Hope I'm not getting a bath because gearbox oil doesn't smell great, you know. Okay, maybe by hand will be easier. In these cars, as you can see, the drain bolt is actually at the bottom of the gearbox. It is very close to the subframe, so you really can't use a socket wrench for this. This has been replaced maybe half a year ago, so if I could reuse it, that would be brilliant. Yeah. Apparently I've actually removed more things than necessary in order to remove the drive shafts. For the pressure. Yes, that's the sound of success. I am sweating. It's really hot in this garage because of the roof, but we've done it. It's separated. I'm gonna go drink something. Almost. Off. Should not be difficult, but the key word here is should. We all know how these things go. Yes, that was extremely easy. Great. Actually, I was expecting to see some sort of clip there. It seems there isn't one in this assembly. I have to check. Let's see if I remember to put them correctly. This should be here, and this one here, and this one. Actually, I separated there. It was easier for me. Now, in order to be able to remove the engine with this in place, or maybe we'll just replace the other unions. I'm not entirely sure. But for now, what I've done is remove this bolt here. Yeah, that goes in there. And now I should maybe remove it here. And then everything else can just go. In the meantime, we have undone this, which is gonna help us remove the engine, of course. I have already undone. Let me see if I can show you. Yes, I've already undone the exhaust here. It was a bit fiddly, but we have been lucky. It was not too rusted. Since I can't find a brand new AC compressor, I just bought a used one. And we're gonna pray. There are other things that we will need to remove. For example, that hose that goes to the thermostat. Now, if we come over here to remove the throttle cable, it should just be a matter of removing this clip, maybe with the appropriate tool. No, that will help. Okay. I think I've done this by the wrong order. I think I should only have removed that in the end, but it doesn't matter. There was a little screw here, and now that the screw is off, we put this here carefully, like so. Now that the screw is off, we can just push it out of here. Now this bit needs to come with a plug so that we can push it aside for the gearbox to come up. So I need to disconnect this. I'm gonna put the bolt in here again so that we don't lose it. I need to separate these two plugs, and already you can see an issue probably, which is this runs directly there, which is no good. I don't see a way of doing this other than cutting it here and then soldering it, which is annoying. Yeah, that's exactly what I feared. I was running into some issues with the other drive shaft. It seems stuck, but I now realize that this is the one that has two bolts there in the intermediate, well, I don't know the name of that, but it's an intermediate thing. And there are two nuts there that you have to undo, and then supposedly you have to rotate the bolts 90 degrees in order to dislocate the drive shaft. That's how it should go in theory. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to remove the rear mount, and then maybe we can drive this out.